Hello fellas, I'll be doing a bit of a different video today. I'm just gonna talk about Payday 3 for a bit, as the closed beta is currently around and actually I got to play it. I will try to keep this brief and just give my 2 cents about this game as it is right now. Keep in mind that it's only a beta build from like April apparently. At least that's what people kept saying. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but it's obvious that the game will improve up until release, so there will be some changes. Anything that I will say in this video is probably going to be different on release, so my little review here is probably not that important, but I will go for it nonetheless. So far, I honestly don't know how to feel about the game. It has some cool things for it, like the gunplay and stuff. It's actually not that bad. You know, it feels pretty satisfying, I do have to admit, but almost everything else just feels kinda weird. Like currently the build only has one heist. It's that one bank heist you see in the trailers and everywhere. You can both play in loud or in stealth, but I actually couldn't get myself to finish it in stealth, simply because I'm not able to play solo or offline. Anytime I got into a game, I obviously had random people join that have no idea how to play stealth and ruin it immediately. So you're basically forced to play loud every time. Though I'm sure on release they will add an option to play solo or with friends only. As currently, if you want to play a game, you just click on matchmaking and you will put into a lobby, or the game will make a lobby with you as the first guy in it. There's no way of putting the lobby like friends only or solo. It just doesn't exist yet. Now Payday 3 will be online only, and not like the traditional way like Payday 2 or Payday Heist did. This alone won't make me play this game for long, as when I pay for a game, I actually want to own that game and not just rent it. Like, you have to connect to the servers and hope it won't fail. Like, if you have no internet, you cannot play this game. If the servers are down, you cannot play this game, because fuck you. With a game like Payday 2, you know, I actually own the game. I can play it offline if I have no internet or whatever. I don't need to hope for the servers being online.
Mr. Dr. Pepper says, since the game is online only, what happens if the servers go down? Well, they won't, is my answer. Hopefully.
Like, when I actually got the beta and wanted to play the game, I was greeted with this screen and couldn't do anything about it for hours. And it's just not on my screen. Many other people had this issue as well. And this is just gonna continue. Like, if the servers are having some issues in the beta build, with like 2,000 people playing, I wonder how the game will be on release. Just to compare a bit, Payday 2 gets around like 20 to 40k people daily. Now another thing that I'm kinda worried about is performance. In the beta build, I only get up to like 50 frames on really low settings with my RTX 3080 Ti and Ryzen 7 2700X. I had lots of stutters throughout the game as well, and people with worse machines probably have an even worse time. But it's safe to say that on release the performance will be better, so this point is probably not that important at all. But I figured I might as well just mention it. When it actually comes to playing the game, it really just feels like your average shooter game. The gameplay is pretty nice, I guess, but that's about it. The AI feels slow and most special units aren't a threat at all. I only had issues with bulldozers and shields at first, but that is only up to until someone told me that you can penetrate the shield through the visor. Which honestly is pretty cool, but it kinda defeats the point of having special enemies that are supposed to be hard to kill. You get a primary and secondary weapon just like in Payday 2. But at some point later in the heist you can call yourself an overkill weapon in. I don't know if there's more weapons or not, but I think there's a sniper actually in a different build. But currently you can only get the piglet grenade launcher, and it kinda sucks. First hour the grenades seem to be delayed. Not just the grenade launcher, but like the number of grenades you can just throw on the ground. They are just all kinda delayed, like desynced. Like you just shoot the grenades on the ground, and up until something actually happens, you might as well just have killed the units with your rifle already. And even if you hit a shot with your grenades, it just does way too low damage to be any useful really. It might be good against shields or a shit ton of enemies at one spot, but that's about it. It feels like the grenades do more damage to you rather than the cops as well. Cause like I had many downs to the grenades already, like to my own grenades. You also drop your overkill weapon once you switch to your other guns, which honestly is just weird. Like why can you not just carry your weapon all the time and drop it whenever you want, while still being able to use your other guns? I get it, it's for the sake of balance, but come on. The difficulties in this game are normal, hard, very hard, and overkill. They all seem to be pretty easy, honestly. I was able to withstand a few overkill assaults by myself on level 1. Sadly at the time when I was playing, it was impossible to level up, as overkill has somehow fucked up the leveling system. So most of us were stuck at level 1, and there was nothing you could have done about it. So even if you could level up, the difficulties would have been even easier. The fact that you can play Overkill mostly fine with just level 1 just shouldn't be possible. Now what makes Overkill sort of difficult or any other difficulty is literally just your armor mechanic. The blue line is basically your armor and you cannot regenerate it, like you would in Payday 2 or Deep Road Galactic at least. In Payday 3 you have to use ammo bags, which apparently were broken in one way or another when I was playing. As in you couldn't bring them into the heist or something. So when you would lose your armor, you only had some amount of health left to tank more shots. Obviously you also can't regenerate your health as well, so basically the game is just an insane resource management. At least on level 1 that is. I do think there's some skills to get some more regeneration, but I wasn't able to unlock them because, again, I was stuck on level 1, and I couldn't do anything about it. While it is possible to research some skills, there's no way of using them because I only had access to one skill point, because again, I was stuck on level 1. Though I'm sure the skill system gets more interesting when I actually get to level up with the game, working as intended. Some people were able to level up because on day 1 of the beta it was still possible, I just got quite unlucky with it. They made this choice for the ammo mechanic system for the sake of having the game to be realistic, but that's just such a stupid argument. Like, have you seen Payday 2 and the true ending? Like how you go from reviving some guy by putting him into the president or something while having God mod with stupid perks like Leech or Kingpin to this. Like, I'd much rather have a normal way of regenerating armor like in Payday 2 or Deep Road Galactic. It just makes for a much more enjoyable experience. Just because something has to be realistic doesn't mean it will be good. The game can still be very difficult this way with ammo regeneration, as Payday Heist has shown it, without having like 5 billion cops on the map, but still being really enjoyable. Payday 3 doesn't do a good job at that, honestly. The AI just feels sort of slow, and as long as you don't go out in the open area like an idiot, you can hold out just fine, even at level 1. It's just that the ammo system and the broken ammo bags make the game difficult. Another thing that I don't understand is that they're trying to introduce mechanics like grit, edge, or rush, which I still have no idea what they even mean. It just sounds beyond cringe to me. Like, I just want a normal game with normal mechanics that aren't trying to be cool and edgy. Like, for fuck's sake, you can put out your phone during the heist, like as if you're about to watch TikTok or something. Stealth in Payday 3 honestly doesn't seem to be that bad. There are some really cool mechanics that we already have seen in the trailer. I like the way how you picklock things or open safes. It's much better than holding F for however how long to open something. Or how the guards interact with you. You cannot get spotted in a public area, for example. They will escort you out if you get spotted in a private area, but they will actually try to cuff you if you are caught in a secure area. It's things like this that make stealth pretty cool. And as much as stealth seems promising, I couldn't really get to play much of it because there's just no way to turn off randoms joining your game. I probably could have gotten 3 friends in my lobby and then try to stealth it, but honestly I cannot be bothered to do that. In a game where you will have to spend €40 to play, I expect there to be some sort of solo mode option as well. Considering there is only one heist in the game and there are still some issues with leveling up, as you're stuck on level 1 forever, make the beta build really boring. Honestly, I'm probably not gonna play more of the beta, because there's just nothing to do. It was still nice to play at least the game, for once in my life, just to see how it is. I will still buy the actual game when it comes out on release, and I'm gonna make a review on that too. As I said before, the beta build is still obviously quite different than what the release is gonna be. So saying the game is utter garbage at this point doesn't really work. It's just that this build in this current state really isn't that interesting. The release version might be actually good, who knows. I do expect a lot for a game that is 40 plus €50 for Gold Edition, and also having microtransactions on top of that, but so far the game doesn't look to be that promising. So yeah, recapping a bit, I think the gameplay isn't too bad. Stealth seems pretty fun, but some choices they made for loud just seem beyond questionable and dumb. Obviously the game has some massive performance issues and bugs, but that's just because it's a beta build. I still absolutely hate the fact that this game is online only and doesn't do it the way like it used to be with the previous games, like Payday 2 or Payday Heist. It also has de novo, or however you call it, anti-tampering system, which apparently sucks as well because it basically makes modding for the game impossible. It's not like that Payday 2 was so interesting for so many people because of the fact it had modding and it was so easy to mod. It certainly made the game that much more interesting, but Payday 3 won't have any of that. Like, I'm genuinely scared that the game will flop really bad, and honestly, I don't really have much hype for it either. Sure, it was nice playing it once, but if anything, I'm way more excited for any update for a different game like Deep Rock Galactic, which I'm probably gonna make mainly content now for. But hey, I will make a new review on release Payday 3 and see how it is. Maybe it's actually good, who knows. Remember, all of my rant here was on the beta build. The current version that we do not have access to might be that much better already. With that said, I don't really have that much more to add, so thank you all for watching my little review here, and I guess have a good time and see you until the next one.